In March's recent Nintendo Direct, we got our first look at the latest entry in one of Nintendo's zaniest franchises. Yes, WarioWare Gold is coming to 3DS this August. For many fans of the WarioWare franchise, this new announcement has come as a huge relief. At the time of making this video, this series has been without a new game for 5 years, so it's high time for some manic micro-game action. One thing which defines Nintendo to me, beyond their unique franchises and the masterpieces they have created over the years, is how fantastically bizarre their games can sometimes be. I still find it amusing that the Zelda franchise is such a hugely successful and mainstream franchise, given how downright odd some of the things in these games can be. Yes, I'm looking at you, creepy toilet hand. But if there's one series which perfectly sums up this off-the-wall side to Nintendo, it has to be the WarioWare series. This is a series which is wonderfully and unapologetically weird in the best possible way. In the words of the developer of the series' first game, Goro Abe, WarioWare was born out of the desire to depart from the norm. Well, they certainly achieved that. For newcomers to the franchise, the WarioWare series revolves around microgames, fast-paced 5-second games which are played in rapid succession. The challenge is to, from the scenario and usually a single word, figure out what to do, how to do it, and then quickly complete each microgame before the time runs out. The premise of these microgames range from the mildly strange to the downright surreal. You'll spend plenty of time nose-picking, hair-plucking and teeth-brushing to name but a few. This is Nintendo at its outlandish best. The game which most perfectly defines WarioWare as a whole is the Game Boy Advance original, WarioWare Inc. Mega Microgames. Each level of the game is represented by one of the numerous quirky characters who task you with completing around 10 to 20 of their unique microgames. As you progress through these rapid microgames, the amount of time for completion decreases and the difficulty increases, really ramping up the tension. The level is then capped off with a slightly longer boss game for one final test of your skills. Each character's stage includes a wealth of different microgames to complete, centered around an overall theme. So in Jimmy T's stages, most microgames share a sports theme, while 9Volt's microgames are all nostalgic nods to Nintendo's past games and products. At this point, I have to take a second to discuss the zany aesthetic of these games. In recent times, some of Nintendo's franchises, like the new Super Mario Bros. Games, have drawn criticism for their graphical style and overall world design feeling a bit flat and characterless, with some fans going so far as to describe these games as near soulless. These, though, are things which could never be said of the WarioWare series. Diamond City, the setting for the WarioWare games, has an incredibly unique style all its own, distinctively bold but magnificently crude. But it's the characters which occupy this world that truly set this game apart, whether it's the Mad Hat inventor, Dr. Krygor, the Afro dance fanatic Jimmy T, or the taxi-driving duo Dribble and Spitz. These characters leap off the screen with personality, ensuring these games, while short, live long in the memory. It is, after all, thanks to the WarioWare series that Wario has developed a unique persona all his own. Separate from the clean, family-friendly Mario series, Wario has developed into a fully fledged, greedy, brazen and crude personality, which we now see celebrated in the Super Smash Bros. Series. His denim jacket, trike and flatulence all add such a wealth of personality to his character. This series is also a prime example of Nintendo being way ahead of gaming trends. When the original launched back on the Game Boy Advance in 2003, smartphones and mobile gaming were not yet even a twinkle in the eye of the tech industry. But already Nintendo had produced a game which typifies today's mobile gaming market, with games being fast-paced, simple to control but oh so addictive, instant gratification at its best. Nintendo were quick to realise the potential of this zany series, quickly porting the original to the GameCube in 2004 and including a new range of multiplayer modes, in the process creating one of the most addictive party games ever conceived. Nothing quite compares to the wacky tortoise balancing game, or the tension of pumping up the balloon to hopefully burst it and knock out players from the game. The most recent game we received in the series was 2013's Wii U entry, Game & Wario. Sadly, this is a game many fans don't even consider a true entry into the franchise. This game moved away from the series staple, rapidly paced microgames, in favour of a smaller collection of longer form minigames. This was a move which developers Intelligent Systems and Nintendo SPD didn't really pull off, drawing much criticism for the game feeling more like a collection of Wii U tech demos than the fully fledged experience fans had come to expect from the franchise. Indeed, it later came to light that this was actually the case, with the WarioWare brand being applied to the game simply to try and weave together the disjointed minigames in a coherent way. Even 2009's WarioWare DIY didn't truly scratch the itch for fans of the series, placing the emphasis more on making your own microgames rather than on simply enjoying a wealth of existing ones. Personally, I enjoyed this unique design your own games approach the game took, but there's no denying that between this game and Game & Wario, fans have now long been awaiting a return to the gameplay which had once defined so strongly the series. The last entries fans consider to have truly carried the torch of the WarioWare series were the DS and Wii entries WarioWare Touched and WarioWare Smooth Moves, releasing in 2005 and 2007 respectively. Both games made extensive use of their console's unique features, with Touched making strong use of the DS touchscreen and microphone, while Smooth Moves relied upon the unique motion and pointer functionality of the Wii Remote, or the Form Baton as the game humorously refers to it. This use of a console's unique features and gimmicks has become synonymous with the series, a trend which continued with the long-forgotten and somewhat lackluster DSiWare title WarioWare Snapped, which made use of the DSi camera for 20 microgames. This precedent for pushing unique methods of gameplay in the series began with the Game Boy Advance entry WarioWare Twisted, a game centered wholly around the cartridge's inbuilt gyroscope. It was because of this penchant for using the unique features of a system that many fans were so disappointed with Game & Wario. The huge array of unique features present in the Wii U gamepad provided lots of scope for uniquely bizarre microgames, an opportunity many felt was squandered in Game & Wario. The reason I mention all these past entries is because the upcoming WarioWare Gold looks set to be a fun-filled compendium of WarioWare wackiness. Nintendo have confirmed the game includes 300 microgames, the largest number in any WarioWare game to date, besting even WarioWare Twisted and its 223 microgames. These microgames include a host of new ones, alongside a wealth of returning ones from across the series' previous entries, including the original Game Boy Advance entry, WarioWare Twisted, WarioWare Touched, and perhaps even some from WarioWare Snapped, all thanks to the 3DS including gyroscopic controls, button inputs, a touchscreen, and camera functionality. Sadly, it's unlikely we'll be seeing any representation for WarioWare Smooth Moves, given the absence of the Form Baton, though with this being the WarioWare franchise, I'd never rule it out entirely. This game will also be the first chance for Europeans, like myself, to enjoy microgames originating from WarioWare Twisted, since the game never saw a European release. These returning microgames have even been given a new lick of paint, looking as wonderfully odd as ever. It's good to see the developers tidying up the visuals of past games, while also striving to give this game its own distinct take on the classic WarioWare aesthetic. If this game's premise, a collection of the series' best microgames from over the years, sounds familiar, it's because this is the same approach WarioWare co-developer Nintendo SPD also took with their other major franchise, Rhythm Heaven, with the 3DS entry Rhythm Heaven Megamix. If this game is anything to go by, we're in for a treat with WarioWare Gold, with Megamix often being cited as the best entry in the critically acclaimed series. To some, a compilation game may not seem that exciting, but considering the limbo this franchise has been in, this is a strong message from Nintendo. This is a game which is moving back to the very foundations of the WarioWare franchise. After a few experiments with the formula, this is Nintendo returning to the purest form of the magnificently bizarre series. This game may well signal a fully fledged return for the series, and no doubt reignite hopes of a future madcap iteration on Switch, making full use of the unique features packed into those little Joy-Con. It's good to have you back, WarioWare. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, I'd be hugely grateful if you'd hit that subscribe button. Let me know what you thought of the recent Nintendo Direct, what you love or hate about the WarioWare series, and whether you'll be picking up WarioWare Gold in August.